You go 13S.
No, 13S is off the 87.
Right. Yeah.
Exit 13 off the Palisades.
I'll probably do better.
13S is the
bingo,
Palisades
bingo.
off the 87. 13 off the Palisades Parkway is, I don't think it's bingo. I think it's Seasons Express.
No,
More than that, but
he's open all night long.
Bingo. Bingo.
yeah.
Or the Meston goes.
The two best businesses.
The grocery business in the past 10 years has exploded, like with the Gourmet Glass and the Seasons Express and the you know what I'm saying, the pomegranates, which started, I think, the whole trend. And now there's in Woodbridge, the buy right is you know the buy right in Woodbridge?
Yeah.
It's also gorgeous. You're in there?
They just redid it.
Yeah. It's humongous and big in that center one, whatever it's called.
Also open whole year?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Different
They
location.
just moved to small
Yeah, different
locations for
location.
that one. But it was both building.
That he serves the Woodridge community there.
Yeah, we used to-
Baruch Hashem, there's plenty for us to go around.
Just put the cover on.
All right, we're going to jump right in. One of the general awarenesses of that we sometimes overlook in Parshas Balak is that Bnei Yisrael Bnei Yisrael didn't know this was happening. The Yidden weren't there. The Yidden weren't in Moab. They weren't with Balak, they weren't with Balaam. This whole parsha was Moshe Rabbeinu gave over Nevuah. What happened? To Balak wanted to give a call, and then eventually they went into Muhammad with Moab. Yeah, with Balak. And Bnei Yisrael didn't know about it. Even so far as that in last week's parsha with the Shiur HaBe'er, which Rashi said, why was the Shiur HaBe'er? Because they had planned a ambush on Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael was going to go through a canyon, and they hidden the caves on the side of the canyon. They were going to ambush Klal Yisrael as they were going to go through there. The Moshe made a nest. The two sides of the canyon collapsed, then opened back up, and Klal Yisrael went through it not knowing what happened. It wasn't until Hashem sent the bear up to wash out all the caves to show all the dead bodies that Klal Yisrael would find out.
Oh, so that's what happens all the.
Yeah, what happened without them knowing that it ever happened. Parshas Balak is even stronger. Klal Yisrael had no idea who Balak was, who Balaam was. They didn't, this was not, they weren't there. This whole thing took place someplace else. So then if this is not, so you can't say that this was Klal Yisrael was involved with Balak and Balak. Klal Yisrael had nothing to do with this. The whole Parshas Balak is because the Rosh wanted to show Klal Yisrael he loved them.
What?
Hashem wants to show he loves Klal Yisrael. I want to tell you what kind of tov I did for you.
But the whole confrontation, Balak, Moshe was somewhere else, not in public?
Nobody was there. No, Klal Yisrael wasn't there. Right? The whole party took place in Moab. Oh, just in time. Wednesday night tuned.
In the form of sushi.
One of the best types.
Yeah.
No, shit, I just finished eating.
For later. To go.
I'm gonna have to go.
Okay. So if you take that perspective, this parsha, the whole purpose of this parsha is so that we could know what it says later on in Dvorim. It says, "V'yapach Hashem Hashem took the klala and turned it into a bracha. Why? Because Hashem loves you. Right? This whole parsha, if you put it into perspective, there's only one purpose for this parsha: to tell Klal Yisrael how much Hashem loves them.
It's in the what's the eating of, I think, right? Yeah. It's in my clothing, looks like somewhere. It's in one of the, I think, Shas in one of the tefillos.
That's right. That's right. It's one. It's one. That's right. Supposed to quote it in the Zmiris Motzei Shabbos. It's also in Torah Snodorm. So if so, then we have to take a look at the parsha. Then every pasuk in this parsha is to point out to us something that we would have not have known, and in that sense, it's telling us that it's always happening to Klal Yisrael. There are things happening behind the doors in politics, we don't know about until after. It's all we see the Torah Hashem, but for Klal Yisrael. So all of we get to step back and say, all these things that are happening in the world around us, the Moshe was controlling everything in order. So if that's the case, then this is a lesson for us to take a look at ourselves and our world around us, and know that the Moshe is only the Torah Klal Yisrael. So that's just it's a perspective that I think about it. I thought about it maybe last year, the year before. And I said, Klal Yisrael wasn't there. How did they know? The only thing was in the book. Moshe Rabbeinu gave in the book every single detail of this parsha. Moshe gave over to Klal Yisrael as in the book. Otherwise, nobody would have known about it. Right? All of a sudden, they come. They go do Mocham with Moab. We wiped them out. Okay. Did we know what the conversation with Oig Melech HaBashan was? Did we know the conversation what we had with Sichon? No, we don't know what they were thinking. We know they came out to do battle with us. So we won. We know what kind of military might. Here, Balak is amassing together an entire attack on Klal Yisrael. We didn't know what was happening. Now we can start the parsha. So one of the diukim, which says in here in Chamishi, the Kli Yaakov points it out, but the Dubna Magid, somebody brought me an old version of the Dubna Magid, big one. Usually what you get today is like called the Sodom size. They shrink it down to, this is hard to read, but I got one, the original prints, Balak ben Tzibas also Yisrael Lemori. Balak saw everything that Yisrael did. Next pasuk. Vayoga Moab b'nei ha'am ma'od kiravu, and he was the Moab was afraid of ha'am. First is Balak sees Yisrael, then Moab is afraid of ha'am. Why? Why did it change? Huh? It changed because before he calls Yisrael, the next one right. He's got the answer is because it was the HaRav. Because they knew that there was no way that Hashem would allow them to attack Yisrael. Right? But yeah, he saw the Nisim that they battled with the Mori and they won Al Pi Nes, right? She said so. There's a place for us to already start to check with it. So we know that they can check it. Why? Because of the HaRav. Right? So if that's the case, then we have another whole part of this parsha, which we're going to get to in Chamishi. Let's change over in Chamishi as well, of what Balak and Bilam were trying to do, and the change that took place, because they wanted to catch Bnei Yisrael at the weakest point. Right? He says, "Come on, we're going to see." Here, beginning of Parshas Chamishi, pasuk Yud Gimel, v'yam el Balak l'chuna iti el makam acher shetven misham efes katzeiur. Go, we're going to come to show you. Don't look at all of the. I'm going to show you just one corner. One part of Klal Yisrael. You don't look at the whole Klal Yisrael. So you'll be able to give them a klola. You'll be able to give them a klola because you only see a piece. But he doesn't make a piece of the whole. You sing. He says because again he says he wanted to find that he wanted to find that little piece that where Bnei Yisrael would be vulnerable. So because of the Cheta Ego, the Erev Rav caused the weakness of Klal Yisrael, and they knew that Bilam knew there was a Cheta Ego. So he said, you know where we can catch Bnei Yisrael? We'll attack them by giving a call to Erev Rav. And once the Erev Rav start to fall, then Klal Yisrael will feel vulnerable, and then we'll be able to give Klal Yisrael a klala.
They weakened Israel by the master from Cosby, no?
Hmm?
The story from Cosby.
Yeah.
That was the weakness, no? That they,
No, the weakness that Bilam wanted to catch was the Erev Rav.
Come.
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
How much?
So then the question is, why not? The Erev Rav is in Klal Yisrael, and Bilam knew that they were the result. So why wasn't Bilam success?
Erev was the never going.
Erev Rav were Gerin.
But it wasn't really. I mean,
They were the Chazal said it was the Chatuman. It was the Erev Rav were the Chatuman, were the sorcerers for Paray.
so they weren't eating really.
They were Megayer. There was a whole, the Medrash brings a whole dialogue between Baruch Shalom and Moshe Rabbeinu. The Chatum came to Moshe Rabbeinu and said, that's it. We see, Yad Elokim, we see this, the Eibishter is all powerful. We saw that we have no more koyach. Baruch Shalom powerful, we want to join you. Baruch Shalom says, Moshe, don't do it. He says, these people have always tried to give you trouble. They will cause trouble for you. Moshe Rabbeinu says, you see? How can I turn them away? They're saying that they recognize the Baruch Shalom is the real thing. That everything they had was fake. This Hashem is real. How can I turn them away? The Baruch Shalom says, the Medrash says, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, wait, you see, you will suffer for them. And when he did it, when they came to Cheta Ego, Baruch Shalom told Moshe Rabbeinu, you see, I told you. So, but the Erev Rav weren't completely wiped out. We don't even know how many there were. There was only 3,000 that were killed by Shevet Levi.
Moshe had
He must have had a cheshbon because
Moshe had a cheshbon. He said they came to him and they said, "That's it. We're maminim in the koyach of Hashem. We want to join Klal Yisrael." And Moshe was mekabel them.
even though Hashem said that they're gonna cause trouble.
He says Hashem said Moshe said. Even so, but how can I turn them away? Somebody comes who wants to be begayer, and they're maminim, and they know the truth now.
but the Baruch Shalom himself told Moshe, you know what I'm saying, that they're gonna, did he tell him not to? I'm saying,
Don't we still encourage not to anyways?
It's not the only one, not the only time the Moshe argued with the Baruch Shalom. Moshe argued with the Baruch Shalom first by the sneh, right? And then when Moshe Rabbeinu saw by Yarbasivoisim, he saw Klal Yisrael suffering. He saw the mitzvim. Let me get a medrash. The Yalkut brings it. He saw them taking babies and stuffing them into the wall. So Moshe Rabbeinu turns to Moshe, what's this? Moshe, what are you doing? He says, these are babies. This is babies. Hashem answered Moshe, I'm being metahar Klal Yisrael. All of these babies will grow up to be Rishonim. I'm doing you a tova. So Moshe said, how can I accept that? Right? So he says, take one and you'll see what will happen. He took one, it became Micha who brought up a desire to Klal Yisrael.
Also Menashe, no?
What?
Menashe, no?
Menashe would come later.
Yeah.
Micha left, he still brought the Avodah Zarah from Mitzrayim all the way through the 40 years in Midbar, all the way to the Zman HaShoftim. Which is a Pella anyway, that the Moshe allowed. Moshe allowed this. But here, Hashem to Moshe, see, I told you, don't save a baby. These, I'm being metar close. So they say for one, it's in kind of right. So it's a pattern. Moshe Rabbeinu is a medel shesha v'chal Yisrael to save even Rishon.
It's not that he thought he knew better than the Eibishter.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
He was just
it's just hard to
looking
understand.
so
Hashem's telling him, either to do something and not to do something, and he's timing that Andrish, like, as if he knows better. I'm saying, but
You just question.
Moshe Ona B'Kolodam, I'm saying he didn't think that he knew more or better than Kaviyachal Hashem. You know what I'm saying? Than the Eibishter himself. So like, how could he not listen?
Because that's the definition of a medel.
The maid is on Rishon, but not Rishon, which is going.
Yes.
So I didn't mean to like the whole thing. I always get curious about
Yeah,
it.
these are phenomenally puzzling midrashim.
Oh,
That's it. Bilam knew. Bilam knew who the Chatumim were. Bilam was one of them. Right? Bilam was part of the Chavah that were by Paroi. He was Bilam knew very well who the Chatumim were. So he knew what kind of some trouble they would make for Klal Yisrael. So Bilam therefore knew, if that's what Bilam knew, that if the HaRav is still there, that he could find a way to be able to penetrate the Kedusha of Klal Yisrael, and then he would be able to give Klal Yisrael a klal. So this brings us to Revi and Chamishi, where the brachos start. Amen. So if you take a look at Chav Gimel Pasuk Dalet in Revi. Guys, you're gonna get it. Chav Pasuk Dalet. Where this is the first time where Bilam wants to give the call to Klal Yisrael.
It wasn't the call that comes when he said Ma'at Toivu.
Yeah, that comes later actually.
Well, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. Pasuk Dalet.
I'll get you.
As we bring him up with Chumash. There's a pro. See them essen mit der Hand.
I know. We have a lot to grow.
So before it says, Pasuk Dalet, V'yikar Elokim El Bilam. Afterwards, it says Hashem appeared to Bilam, but it uses V'yikar Elokim El Bilam.
Is to recognize?
Yeah, Hashem called to him. And it's called V'yikar because not instead of V'yikra. Because V'yikra was Hashem called to Moshe.
The same. Shouldn't use the same. Lotion.
Yeah, I didn't want to use the same lotion because it was like, Moshe says like, okay. But if you take a look at Chamishi, Pasuk Tezayin,
Also Vayikar.
Vayikar, Yud Kei Vav Kei, not Elokim.
It's
Vayikar,
the same lotion as in Vayikar.
Vayikar,
as opposed
except
to
for you
Vayikar.
there, it says Vayikar Elokim.
I know, here it says what you call
Elokim.
him up.
Here it says Vayikar Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei. Midas Haracham.
Right, there's Midas Hadim.
Midas, Vayikar Elokim is Midas Adin. And over here, it's already Midas HaRachamim. Right? So that's Ramban. The Ramban points it out.
And both the Bilam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both the Bilam.
Both of them.
Right? But it says, but here it says the Ikar Hashem. If you think again, let's compare.
I thought that the car is a rough tone.
It
that
is.
To build, so why
It
is it
is.
rough? Why is it this?
Yeah, that's
Well, one's the
that's the kasha.
One's not.
Yeah, it says Hashem Kelikim came to Bilam. Bilam says, "I'm ready to do it." You see, I brought the korbanos. I made mizbechois. I brought korbanos, and then we also Hashem davar b'vi Bilam. Then Hashem puts the words into Bilam, but Yom Yeshuva Balak will go tell him. Over here, it's all different. Vayikor Elokim Bilam, vayasem davar b'vi. It didn't say that he then sent him back to Balak. He said directly. To Bilam, then he tells him, now that I put it into you, I mean, first he says, go back to Balak. And then I'm going to tell you what to say. Here it says, I'm going to tell you what to say. And then you go talk to Balak.
It says the same thing. Both places say the same thing. Yes, Hashem do it.
Not the same sequence,
Yes, Hashem.
right? Who Bilam says to the Rebbeinu Shalom, as she was right? V'yasem Hashem davar b'fi Bilam, v'yom Yeshuva Bilam b'chayis davar.
And here it says also, yes, Hashem do it.
No, first it says immediately. V'yikol Elokim Bilam v'yasem davar b'fi.
Yeah.
He doesn't even wait for Bilam to start. There, when Pasuk Daled, Bilam's tending to the Rebbeinu Shalom, I want you to, Hashem come to me, say, okay, I want to show you how good I am. I brought him his korbanos. But yes, Hashem davar Bilam. Yeah, Yeshuva Bilam. Here, immediately. V'yikor Hashem Bilam, but yes, davar Bilam immediately. And then, Yeshuva Bilam. Ramban points out this difference. He says that the difference is that at this point, Balak took Bilam and put him on K'tzei Amach. I want to show you the weakest point of Klal Yisrael, which he's referring to HaRav. And Hashem said, you know what? I want to show you how much I love Bnei Yisrael. I love Bnei Yisrael so much that when after the Levian, when the American they were Kanoim, and they killed out those who are over the ego, Hashem said, "Yinochem Hashem Allah shadiv ala'atu." So after Moshe kind of Hashem says, "Okay, Moshe ben Yinochem Hashem." Hashem said, "I'm a kabel tanchuma." You know what? Klal Yisrael wants to be close to the Hashem. I will show you how much I love them. I will even protect the HaRav. If they want to be part of Yisrael, and they didn't do the Egel because those who did the Egel were killed. So they were part of Klal Yisrael, and they wanted to be part of Yisrael, and they didn't do the Egel. I said, I want to touch it. I'm going to protect. Midas HaRachamim will be so great that I'll protect even the HaRav.
But the HaRav did the eagle, no? They caused the eagle.
And those HaRav were killed after they did that.
And these HaRav,
This is part of the HaRav that didn't,
So what made them Arab?
because they were still part of the same group.
It was a breakaway.
So there's two really big machshavos. One is that the HaRav are still the ones who give Klal Yisrael difficulties. every time you find
Adayim.
Adayim. And this is brought down the seven Chazanish when they asked them about the Zionist leaders who were, wanted to destroy Torah when they first founded. He says,
State.
this HaRav, same HaRav. They want to be able to claim they're Jews and not be able to and not want to follow Torah. So he says, until Mashiach will come, there'll always be HaRav. As those are coming from the Chazanish. But if you take a look at it, there are always those in Klal Yisrael who are constantly trying to undermine the Kedusha of Klal Yisrael. And we just went through a whole period of time, went through a year of politicians who wanted to destroy Torah in Eretz Yisrael. We're going through the difficulties. Who caused this whole issue with the education, Jewish educational standards in New York State? A couple of disgruntled citizens. Yeah. Nobody else did. How would they know that the secular educational departments in South are not good? How do they know? They know because there were a couple of disgruntled people who felt that they are the victims of poor education rather than the fact that they are. Yeah. Huh?
President of a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Lack of education.
Lack of education. So number one is that the HaRav over there, and it'll be there until Mashiach will come. And that every time that they lift up their heads to try and make tzoros for Klal Yisrael, the Rebbeinu Shalom has already calculated how they're going to lose their power. And so we just saw it now. It's not just politically. In the shift of the government, they're out. Right? They'll never be part of the government again.
I mean, that's Israel.
Yeah. Unhandled. So we stop and say, oh, well, that's interesting politics. Not interesting politics. The Rebbeinu Shalom is Choshen Machshavos. The Rebbeinu Shalom constantly is showing us that as long as our Torah is strong, we have nothing to be afraid of. Yeah, they're going to make a tumult, they're going to threaten, they're going to The Rebbeinu Shalom takes care of those who oppose Torah. There's the Dubin Amag at the beginning of Parshas Balak comes with like a beautiful mashal. He says, what was Balak worried about? Balak, all he had to do was make peace with Klal Yisrael.
I got his payday from Balak.
Yeah. So Balak was supposedly to protect his neighbors from the.
What is he?
So he said a beautiful motion. He says there's a Gvir who realized that there's a Ganav trying to steal stuff from him. Every once in a while he gets in, he steals two or three items, but he says the Ganav knows that that the Gvir will never make himself vulnerable. He should steal a lot of stuff. So he keeps on stealing small things, so that the Gvir would feel that he's not safe. So what does the Gvir do? He takes a lot of his valuable stuff and he gives them to his neighbors to protect. So the Ganav knows that. So therefore the Ganav can go steal each one thing, steal from all the neighbors. And you don't have to worry about stealing everything, getting in and stealing everything at one time from the Gvir. So get them from the neighbors. This is
Tactic.
Tactic. Yeah. So Balak said, I had Oig on one side, I had Sichon on the other side. These guys were supposed to be protecting protecting me. He says, I'm going to try and see what I can do. Maybe I can get rid of some of my stuff, and therefore I will not have to be very Klal Yisrael. So he says, don't worry about it. The Bereshit going to take care. The Bereshit will show you how the Klal Yisrael will take over everything. It's a nice motion. So we look at Chamisha. Let's look inside the Chumash. I want to show you only a part of Klal Yisrael, right? Yeah. Before he wanted to show him only that he couldn't give a call to all Klal Yisrael, so he's going to find one corner, one weakness in Klal Yisrael. The grace they stayed from Rosh Hashanah, even Shem Mizrach v'Yal Parva Yizbeach. V'Yomer Balak Yishatzev Koi Alo L'Tzach V'Anochi Koi Koi. He uses terms. A Koi says he's going to Yishatzev Koi. Stay here Alo L'Tzach V'Anochi Koi Koi. Says you stand here, and I'll stand here. Right? Yishatzev Koi. Where's this koi? So Chazal tell us that koi, the 25 is the letters of Kriyas Shema. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, 25 letters. So he said, I want you to tell you, you'll take part of the weakness of Klal Yisrael and take away part of the protection of Shema Yisrael, and I'm going to take part of the protection of Klal Yisrael with Shema Yisrael, and then I'll be able to give a call to Klal Yisrael, and this becomes one of the connecting the string of events that happen to Klal Yisrael. Whenever our emunah gets weak, that's when our enemies have. Whenever Klal Yisrael stops saying Shema Yisrael, whenever Klal Yisrael loses their emunah, that's when we become weak. So Balak was telling him, Bilam told Balak, Yishatzev Koi, hold on, keep away the Koi. Also, you keep the Shema on your side. You don't let them get to it. And I will try and stop them from saying Kriya Shema on this side. Hashem says, no, my love for Yisrael, that the love that Hashem has for Klal Yisrael, Mizrachim, is so great, immediately tells him what to say. So before he ever goes back to Balak, he already has complete bracha. So it's only Midas Rachman. So if you think about it, because one of the kashas that's asked, because Matov Alecha Yaakov, skipping the Matov Alecha Yaakov, besides the fact that Matov has to be the beginning of an Amud. Every good surfer knows. Yeah. Matov Alecha Yaakov has to be the beginning of Amud Torah. There's a remez for it. What's the remez? Maybe I'll remember later. We use that to start off davening. We start off with what Bilam has to give. He gave Klal Yisrael, and B'chlal, if you take a look at all the brachos that Bilam gave, the poetry, the poetic license that was given to Bilam is amazing, right? Hashem is not a man that will ever say until alive. And Hashem will have Hashem is not a man. Hashem will have remorse. Hashem says, will he not do it? Right? Beautiful. Tremendously beautiful poetry. It fits. It fits great. Yisum Mashallah, he lives up Mashallah, he gives a mushal, but Bilam was a master at words. And Hashem put all this into Bilam's mouth to tell us that no matter what the nations of the world around us want to do to us, Hashem says, I'm going to protect you. Yaakov, you have nothing to worry about. Every morning we got to get up in the morning and say the same thing. Don't worry about what the nations of the world are doing. The you have nothing to be afraid of. The only time we have to be afraid of is when Klal Yisrael is weak. If we take a look at the history of Klal Yisrael, every time that we went through a Churban was after a moment with a period of weakness of Emunah and Klal Yisrael. First Beis Hamikdash, second Beis Hamikdash. All the events that led to every one of the great tragedies of Klal Yisrael was preceded by a weakening of Emunah. I've said before, I had when I was a younger man, right after I got married, my father's minion was an elderly Yid, he was a shochet. He'd been a shochet, it was a European Yid, it was a shochet, he retired. So he used to come and down with my father's minion. And we were sitting one morning after and he says, "So to listen, ben gran Talmud from Chofetz Chaim." You learned in Raden. So I learned in Raden by the Chofetz Chaim. I said, okay, very nice. He said, I want to let you tell you, I'm giving you Edus, that I watched the Maskilim and the Charedim and the Firmiyim fighting in the streets of Europe. I watched it. And I'm telling you, had Hitler Yamashmai not came and spilled Yiddish blood, it would have been Yidden who would have been done it. Says the sin was so great. The sin was so great that it's about the Hitler, about Yidden got the Yiddish blood. And Jews would have been killing each other. And it gets glossed over because after we have 6 million Kedoshim, and we get glossed over that Klal Yisrael was at one of its low points of Torah, right before World War II. Everyone said, great yeshivas. Chachmei Lublin, there were yeshivas throughout Hungary, there were some Soviet yeshivas, Ksav Sefer, Kuchen, right?
There was a lot of Torah.
Huh?
There was a lot of Torah.
There were a lot of Torah. I'm going to tell you, there was never one place that was even close to Lakewood, let alone Mir.
Yeah.
Not even, all of them together.
Yeah.
Didn't have as many Talmidim as they were in Lakewood. Yeah, how many were Talmidim were in Mir? Mir was a big yeshiva, 200. Yeah, Volozhin was 100, 200 Talmidim.
Right.
Yeah.
Vilna had bought the Midrashim. Yeah, you were sitting and learning with the yeshivas, big yeshivas. The Maskilim were fighting for control. Hungary of the government and Germany of the government. Maskilim were taking over, getting power from the government to take over how to run the Eden, how to run the Yiddishkeit. Hitler knew how to use them, right? Took them into the Judenrat. So this is Kliyoko says Hashem's love for Klal Yisrael was so great that even the Shvachkeit of the Rosh has a cheshbon for them. It's a purpose for them. The HaRav will be there. Alpha Vikin, the Rosh didn't allow Bilam to give a call. Even so,
Did Bilam realize that he was benching the Eden, or what did he think he was doing when?
Bilam?
Yeah, when
he knew he was
meant.
benching.
Oh, he knew.
Yeah, except for the Gemara says
He was trying to say other words.
if you take it, the Gemara says if you take a look at what he was saying,
Yeah.
you understand what he wanted to say. So I said just the B'derech Tzachus. We say Matov Alecha Yaakov Mishlesecha Yisrael every morning. How would that have been? What was behind in Bilam's mind when he said Matayva? What was the call? He says, all you gotta do is put a question mark there. Matayva Alecha Yaakov, yeah, you think your tents are so good? Not so good. Mishkanei Secha Yisrael, you think that's good? The Moshe said, take away the question mark. Matayva Alecha Yaakov. It's not a ma, what is? But Matayva, look how good it is.
Fact.
Yeah. So the Lashon Ramban was really interesting. וזה טעם וירבים כי טוב בעיני השם לברך ישראל, כי גם, later, גם ייתן הטוב בברכה ומאסכל יובל. He says, I want you to understand, you have to think. He says, כי במידה סרחנו יכולים עליהם. The Baruch Shem showed Bilam his midas harachma. That's what Shem Yud Kevovke. Ki ad ata geshoyer shemei b'midas hadin ha'yachoshev v'limtzu elam ila. Because until then, Bilam was coming with midas hadin to show that maybe Klal Yisrael deserves to be judged. B'avan ha'shachotu, during the aver they did, the egel, etc. And that would then turn Hashem to become their enemy. And then they'll be able to do battle with him. Over here, Bilam saw that there's only Rachman for Klal Yisrael. So immediately says, Hashem put the words into his mouth right away. So it then asks of us, what are we seeing when we look at the events of our world? We keep on trying to say, this cheshbon, that cheshbon, we know what this government is going to do, what that government is going to do. The Baruch Shem says, you may know nothing, but eventually I will show it to you. Amar Chashem will get to see the greatness of Hashem, Klal Yisrael. We should be able to take all of the clothes of the world around us. The one pasuk we saw, which is the fun pasuk of the Parsha, Chav Beis Lamed Zayin. In Poland, there were certain areas of Poland that never couldn't pronounce a lamed. Łomż was Łomż. They couldn't pronounce it. So there were close words of Łomż. Take a pasuk of Lamed Zayin and try and read it without pronouncing a lamed. Right. How many lameds are there in this pasuk?
Every word came out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lameds. So
why with an aleph?
Why with an aleph? Because the time is Klal Yisrael is always, our enemies are always trying to undermine Klal Yisrael. The Baruch says, no. I'm not doing
To the word Ephes. I was wondering if that means a little bit. So just going to, the word from the Yiddish word, is that epis comes from? Epis, like it's epis.
Epis.
Is that,
Could be.
Epis is zero, nothing.
well, not a little bit, like
Epis is something.
epis, right? Eat something like epis,
Interesting, yeah.
epis, you know what I'm saying? I wonder if it's,
Percent.
huh?
Oh, it's.
Please take some sushi home.
Thank you, thank you.
Sam, send over the boys.